My whole life has just fallen apart. Ouija boards are very slow and they bore me to tears. But it is also possible that she is being yanked by a spirit. Hello everyone, welcome back to the D.R.I.P podcast, D.R.I.P Investigates Paranormal. I'm joined by my team, Lozzie, Scott, Maya and Bailey. Obviously Bailey's not here because what we do here, there's 5 of us and that might just be too much for a podcast. So we cycle around. We forgot to do something last week. I was supposed to answer questions. I asked people for their questions and I completely forgot. I'm sorry. But we'll make sure, guys, one of us has to remember at the end to do a few questions, all right?
All right.
Excellent. Okay, right, so today I want to do a case or discuss a case that deeply saddens me because it's the Enfield Haunting case, and the reason that this saddens me is that the house is just a regular house now. The people bought it and there's no like come and investigate or anything. I mean, as we'll find out, it is alleged possibly that it was all a hoax, but you know, nonetheless, it would be great to go there and experience it and see what it's all about, you know. But yeah, so the Enfield house is not, sadly, available to investigate, because I know we get a lot of comments like, go to the Enfield property. It's like, we can't. It's called breaking and entering if we did that.
I mean, we can.
Yeah.
Physically we can.
Legally we can. Yeah. We're not committed enough to essentially break in, hold the owners hostage while we do the investigation. I'm sorry.
I'm on it.
Maybe one day.
I'm ready.
And then upload
if this gets 10,000 likes, we will break it. No, we won't. But I would like 10,000 likes. Hit that like button. Thank you very much. Right. Okay. The Conjuring 2's Enfield case, a true story that still haunts us today. So obviously, Conjuring 2 kind of didn't make it famous because the Enfield Haunting was already very, very famous. But the Conjuring 2 kind of retreads the Enfield case, definitely dramatises it, and unfortunately for horror fans, myself included, Valak, the demon nun, in reality, had fuck all to do with the Enfield Haunting, because Valak, although Valak may be a demon in some sort of scripture, I don't know, but the whole demonic nun thing, I believe, had nothing to do with the Enfield Haunting whatsoever. And I think the Conjuring 2 movie actually tries to link via Valak the Amityville Haunting and the Enfield Haunting. I'm pretty sure Conjuring 2 begins with the Enfield Haunting, and Valak's kind of there doing Valak-y things. But that involves a lot of just scary nun imagery, which is fucking terrifying. So the 1977 poltergeist case that commanded the attention of British tabloids is the subject of the Conjuring 2's investigation. The article I've got here only, I believe, briefly talks about the Conjuring 2 before getting onto the actual shit. So I'm going to skip all the Conjuring 2 stuff, because as much as I enjoyed the movie, it's not what we're here to talk about today. So,
I've got a confession.
Oh God, you haven't seen it?
I've never watched any Conjuring movies.
Me either.
What?
How have you not watched these, Scott?
I hate horror films.
I'm not a big horror movie person.
Yeah.
It's not into horror at all, just ghosts. No.
More into the real life stuff.
Yeah.
I think I've watched. I don't know if it's the second one. I might have watched a Conjuring film, but I don't know if I watched it. But then
Right, cancel the pod.
That's it. I don't believe in this shit, so
That's true.
Well,
I mean,
I
you're the
was
team
tapping out.
skeptic, so
that's it.
you've got an excuse. But you two, you've never seen the. Hang on, was it Scott or Mark? Who said they haven't seen any of them?
Me.
I've also not seen any of them.
What?
I don't think. How is that possible?
I've seen all the Insidiouses.
How have you not seen the Conjuring movie? Right, we watched.
I've seen the
Conjuring
first, like,
sesh.
No, I've seen like the first 15 minutes of The Conjuring, got to I don't know. This might have even been just the trailer, but I watched the
You watched 15
wardrobe
minutes,
scene. Ain't watching it. No,
Oh, that's it.
no,
You got
Is that
some
not
fucking homework.
Insidious?
no.
That's the
I've
thing.
seen all the
That's the other
Insidious
thing with these
movies.
movies, Conjuring and Insidious, because they got the same male lead. I literally said this last week because they got the same male lead.
Easy.
They get confused in my head.
Yeah.
But Insidious has Darth Maul, so there we go.
Yes.
Insidious is really good. I liked Insidious.
Insidious has Darth Maul, who kept me up for about 2 weeks after
Yeah.
the latest film.
It's about
My biggest
2
issue with the
years of
first
first one.
Conjuring, I think it's the first Conjuring movie, or it might be Conjuring 2. Anyway, when they go to investigate the basement, right, and they film it, and they've literally got like a fucking 1080p camera with a bit of grain over the top. So hang on a minute, this is in like the 70s. What's fucking going on here? But yeah, anyway, enough of that. Deep disappointment.
It's not
Let's
going to be
skip a
very
few
effective
paragraphs.
Conjuring 2 review, is it?
What do you say?
It's not going to be a very effective Conjuring 2 review. You're about to.
Fucking no. Well, that's all right, because I'm going to skip it all anyway.
Okay.
Skip a few paragraphs, hopefully, to just the Enfield shit. There was no demon in the real Enfield case, but a poltergeist, a malicious spirit that haunts people through physical disturbances such as shuffling things around a room. Wow. Levitating its victims.
Can't believe we can't go there.
Or banging doors at night. Sorry. Like how I Ready? Poltergeist.
Whoa.
How it
Did
like
you see it?
Did you see it?
Gengar's fucking tag. That's me.
Yeah?
Oh.
Whoa!
Whoa. Shuffling things around.
Aircon. Debunked.
Flex.
Levitating, yeah. So in the film, the Warrens, who tag along with British paranormal investigators Maurice Gross and Anita Gregory, do suspect a troublesome spirit before the third act reveals that there is actually something demonic behind the creepy ghost of Bill Wilkins. The real-life Hodgson family began experiencing poltergeist activity in their Enfield home in 1977. At first, Peggy, a single mother of 4, didn't believe her daughters Janet, 11, and Margaret, 12. When they told her the chest of drawers in their bedroom was moving on its own, but when the chest slammed against the door, locking Peggy out of the girl's room and forcing her to run to her neighbours for help, she was convinced. I mean, if anything's going to do it,
It'll probably be that. Yeah.
Peggy called the police. Now, this bit is fucking sick because this is a police report, right? Peggy called the police, and like in the movie, a constable reported that a large armchair moved unassisted 4 foot across the floor in the kitchen. So 2 police turn up, and they're like, right, what's going on, Peggy? And they're like, oh, weird shit. And then they just stood there, and a chair just shoots across the room. Like, I don't see... If this is all a hoax and, you know, all that sort of stuff for publicity... What do the police get out of it? You know? So, that's fucking
Is
cool.
the police report verified?
Yeah.
That's mental.
Yeah. So, it's fucking crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Crazy. So, yeah. The police officers' quick exit from the house. They're like, well,
Serve and protect.
you're fucked.
Yeah.
See you later. This is out of my jurisdiction.
we
Do
can
I look
do.
like a fucking Ghostbuster? I'm off. Dear oh dear.
Have to
Terrified
report
Peggy
those.
Hodgson probably wasn't laughing at all. Oh, because it says in the movie they leave and it's played for laughs. Stop! Oh, I've got the wrong article here. It's just going to constantly compare it to the film. Bear with us, podcast viewers and listeners. The disturbances only got worse from there. The Hodgson reportedly suffered all manner of strange happenings in the house for the next 18 months, including furniture being overturned, not ideal, toys being thrown, banging noises, writing appearing on walls, and even levitating children. In 2012, Janet told...
Well, that's kind.
Yeah. In 2012, Janet told ITV that cups would inexplicably fill with water, things would randomly burst into flame, probably not the glasses of water, and that disembodied voices would also speak to them. According to
There's
Janet,
actually glasses of ethanol.
according to Janet, the most frightening encounter was when a curtain wrapped itself around my neck next to my bed. So if you think back to that amazing moment in 30 East Drive where Scott is innocently peering out of the window, you have no idea how close you were to being
I
attacked
could have
by the
been
curtain.
poltergeisted.
Yeah. What are you doing, Scott? Checking out the neighbourhood.
Checking
I
out
love that clip so much.
So
that
funny.
video is so funny from start to finish.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it is great. Peggy
Come on
eventually
in.
turned to the press for help. Why not? Reaching out to the Daily Mirror, the tabloid centre photographer. Isn't it weird how, like, you know, back in the day, so Peggy eventually turned to the press for help, reaching out to the Daily Mirror. If it was today, it'd be like, Peggy eventually turned to the internet for help, reaching out to Sam and
TikTok.
Colby.
Reaching out to Lad Bible.
Jesus.
Reaching out to Uni Lad. The tabloid
Fail
sent
army.
the tabloids sent a photographer, Graham Morris, to the house to capture the hauntings, and that's when all hell broke loose. The Enfield case might be one of the best documented paranormal cases in history, thanks to the Morris's disturbing pictures of his visit to the Hodgson house. Among these images is a photo of Janet being tossed across her bedroom by the poltergeist while her sister Margaret watches in horror. Now, I don't know if it's on here. It's not. I'm going to get that picture, and I'm going to get Lozzie. I'm going to get you to throw it up because I just want us to have a look at it. Enfield Haunting picture. Obviously, the audio listeners won't be able to, but basically, it is one of the children levitating, air quotes, levitating. To me,
Okay.
this
Yes,
looks
before you
like
say it,
a
yes.
girl has jumped in the air and someone has taken a picture.
I can't see it.
I
Yet.
could be wrong. She could be levitating. Loz, you're going to get up on the screen, son.
Yeah.
Get
Can you hurry
up
up there, please?
on the screen. There she be.
Oh, shut up.
Now, whoa!
Sorry. Come on.
Now, you can't... The thing is, she could be jumping, but you can't, for certain, say she's not levitating.
No,
No.
I'd say you can. Do you want to know how I can prove it? Because of
'Cause
her hair. Her hair is going
Oof,
up.
The
So she's
physics.
jumped. Yeah, that's how you can tell.
Yeah, but look at the kids in the bed. They're like,
They're probably
that-
laughing.
Is that a balloon in the top left-hand corner?
That's
I
just someone else levitating.
fuck it. It's,
That's-
what's
that's
his name?
what I'm saying.
Pennywise the Clown's in the house.
That's it.
Let's see if we can debunk this further. Is there like? An
I mean, there's not
imprint on
much
the
to
bed?
debunk, is there? It's she jumped in the air and someone took a photo.
But she's
Yeah.
unless she's jumped off the bed, which there is no creasing to
She has got
Also-
some height to her.
Yeah, she's fucking
Also-
high up.
The back of her dress, nightie, whatever you call that, is puffed out to imply that air has gone up the dress, which would also.
But she
prove
could be
the point
coming
that
back
she's jumped.
down.
More science.
Mm.
Nah.
Right. Let me just, Lozzie, bring it back. Bring
Bring
it
it
back
back.
to the main screen for the viewers. I'm going to attempt to jump as high as this girl.
This is not going to go well.
This is something's breaking.
Straight
here.
through the floor.
I don't know if it's Jordan or the backdrop.
Gengar's getting fucked up.
Right. So how high would you say she came up?
Like 2 foot.
She's quite. No, if you look where
I'd say about 3.
she's, where's about here?
No.
There's nothing to. I mean, so she's
No,
about.
but I know her.
All
She's
the
the
way-
height of the bed.
She's a-
She's the
yeah,
height
she's-
of the bed.
No, but look at where her
Feet.
hips are, though.
Yeah, but just if you just jump, it just go off the height from the feet.
I'm scared. See, I can't get that high.
You
I don't
can.
know. I
You
think
literally
you
just
actually
did
were that high then. Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Her
Jordan
hip,
does it. I can't do it.
her hips are about a quarter of the way up the window.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So she's
That's not
like,
measured.
Okay, I
Based,
think I
based
did
on
it.
my understanding of your studio, your hips are about a quarter of the way up the window.
yeah.
Fucking hell. This
Plus,
is-
your
not-
knees were in exactly the same position as hers are.
Oh.
It's debunked. I don't believe that for a second. Sorry.
Yeah, I've got more comments on the decor.
Posters.
My God. That wallpaper, that fucking carpet, that's enough to get me fucking stirred up. I don't even know what's on that carpet. Jesus Christ. But yeah, that is...
But
that
it
is
stinks.
Okay,
for
so
me.
we've debunked that. All
You
right.
just know it smells like cigarettes in that house as
Potentially.
well.
Listen, I'm not ruling it
That
out.
duvet was white to start with.
Chain smoking, let's go.
Yeah, but I was back in the days when smoking was cool. No vapes available.
Still is, bro.
Don't vape, kids. It's just as stupid as smoking. Right. Where are we at? So, yeah. We got up to the photograph, which some of the team are ruling out.
Raise your hand if you don't think it's real.
Right. All
All
of
right.
them.
Conclusive.
All right. Let us know in the comments.
Also, there were actually other pictures in that series of pictures that show her jumping off the bed.
Shut up.
That's it.
I don't want to ruin your fun, but if you could put that one on screen.
Oh, I've got to subscribe for a 1-month trial to read the rest of the fucking article.
Yeah,
Go on.
yeah. If you could
All
put the link
packs
I just sent
deductible.
on.
Oh, fucking Telegram.
Oh yeah. I've just found it. Let me just put it in
What?
the chat. So you
Is
don't
it
have to
actually
buy
a
it.
photo of her jumping off the bed?
Yeah.
I mean, I
Nice,
do
though.
believe some of it.
It's actually a GIF.
There is a GIF, yeah.
Is there a GIF?
There's a GIF. No, there's not a GIF.
There's a fucking
Done. Done.
Look at
Where's
this.
the GIF for?
No. No. No.
That's a fuck GIF and a half.
Oh, it's
I
not
told you the girls were
real.
laughing in the background, not screaming. Told you.
You didn't say a land though.
That's true. She was floating the whole time.
That's it. You didn't say a land. I mean,
I
what's
don't
that?
believe what I'm seeing.
What, we like 17 minutes in? Debunked. Next
Thanks for
episode,
watching, everyone.
moving on.
Yeah.
My whole life is just falling apart. Oh.
Told you. However, you were right in the fact that she couldn't jump that high from the ground.
Hang on.
Wait, the bed changes.
Let me continue this article, right?
How does the bed change that much?
What do you mean?
Watch the
Yeah.
bed that she's jumping off. The bed like
Loose,
remakes itself. Paranormal. The bed remakes itself.
Maybe there's a
Did
few.
jump.
Maybe it's a few
Yeah,
sets of
multiple
photos.
takes.
That's
Yeah.
taking the best ones.
I think the little bit underneath sort of says that pictures 1 and 3 seem to be one set and 2 and 4 another.
Ah, yeah, it does.
Right, so let me just continue this, right, because it's quite interesting considering what we are now seeing. Among these images is a photo of Janet being tossed across her bedroom by the poltergeist whilst her sister Margaret watches in horror. I mean, there's 2 kids there, not 1, but okay. As you might suspect,
So
if you've
I think
watched The
they're
Conjuring
laughing,
2,
but-
it is very possible that this picture is staged. Janet leaping off her bed and onto the floor, but we can only go by Morris's account here, and he seems convinced. Well, the same man that took these images.
Is convinced. We can only go off his recollection. No, I think we should probably go off the pictures that clearly show her jumping off the bed.
But
I
it
don't
is
know, that's just my
also
opinion.
possible that she is being yanked by a spirit. You can't say it's not. You know what I mean? You can say what you
Yes,
like.
can.
No, you can't conclusively. Do you want to hear what Morris said about this moment?
Not
Yes.
really.
Not really.
He's a crackhead.
Can we talk about something else?
It was chaos. Things started flying around. People were screaming.
He's got the only thing I think is credible about what he said is people were screaming.
And the only thing flying around is her.
Yeah, because she jumped off her bed.
I
that-
own free will.
So after this, the Daily Mail and the Hodgsons next called the paranormal investigators of the Society of Psychical Research, including Maurice Gross and Anita Gregory, along with Guy Leon Playfair, who isn't depicted in the movie. Stop. I know this is an article about the movie, but fucking hell. When I first got there...
We're talking about this while the gifts just going in the
Oh,
background.
for fuck's sake. When I first got there, nothing happened for a while. Then I experienced Lego pieces flying across the room and marbles. And the extraordinary thing was, when you picked them up, they were hot. Gross told the writer Will Storr about the first days of his investigation via the Daily Mail. I was standing in the kitchen and a T-shirt leapt off the table and flew into the other side of the room while I was standing by it. Then the poltergeist decided to speak. As in the movie, the ghost of Bill Wilkins reached out to the investigators through Janet, a raspy voice emanating from the little girl whilst her lips hardly seemed to be moving. Yeah, that Bill Wilkins in the movie is fucking scary. It's all I talks like this. You're right. Literally.
Jesus.
The spirit told Gross and Playfair that it had died of a hemorrhage in the living room. Investigators later confirmed with Wilkins' son that a man by that name had indeed died in the house many years before. There were skeptics from the start, of course, and the debate around the Enfield case continues today, even in this very podcast.
It doesn't.
What?
No debate here. Lozzie just went, it doesn't.
Even Playfair observed in his case notes that Wilkins generally refused to speak unless the girls were alone in the room with the door closed. Wilkins was a nonce. And that the Hodgson children were motivated to add to the activity with some tricks of their own. Playfair wrote that when Janet knew cameras were on, nothing seemed to happen. But Gross and Playfair were believers. Hang on a minute. So this guy goes, yeah, when the cameras are on, conveniently, she does fuck all. But when they're off, loads of shit happens. But I do believe her.
However,
Oof.
in our experience, and in a lot of other investigators' experiences, that is quite common. So
Well,
I will give them that.
I went round my uncle's the other day, and he said to me, because he watches the investigations, and he said, which I do get where he's coming from. He said, I think that when you start an investigation, you should have a segment where you just go into a room with basically as little technology as possible. I mean, he did tell me to not even take cameras, and I was like, the whole point is that we document the investigation.
Yeah,
but
kind of
I get what he's saying. He was saying, like, as little equipment as possible and just get a feel for it. Because he was like, he said, which again I kind of get. If I was a ghost and I saw loads of, like, you know, equipment and lights and shit, I wouldn't come and say hello. So okay, fair enough. But yeah, so I think as a little segment, what we could potentially do is like a very, very, very minimal technology bit where we're just, I mean, you see it in like most haunted and stuff where, I mean, Yvette famously, an Yvette, friend of the show, all right, but where she's just like, right, can you copy me? You know, it turns into Tweety Pie for about 5 minutes, and you know, all the equipment goes out the window, and it's like, can you copy me? Oh. Hey!
Jesus Christ.
You know, so maybe we need to start doing that, and then maybe
If
the ghost
we got a ghost to do that back to us, I'd be off my head.
We were channeling our inner Freddie Mercury in the middle of a haunted house.
Imagine he turned
I'm on
up.
board.
Yeah,
So
that'd be cool.
yeah, so maybe we'll do a little bit where we, got basically no technology, and we'll just see what happens. But yeah,
Just take tape deck in or something. Just start describing what's happening.
yeah.
Dictaphone it.
Pure. I mean, that would be actually quite cool. I'm just like just picturing like a segment where, so the screen goes black because we haven't got any cameras with us, and all you can hear is the tape deck, like, and then it's just like the transcription of what's being said, and like you say, Lars, you're literally just describing what's happening.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, like conveniently a massive ghost has just walked in the room. Go away, ghost.
And now he's punching Lozzie in the face.
Oh my god, Lozzie's being
What's
thrown
going
against
on?
the ceiling.
We haven't thought this through, because if we say something sensational, then got to show it on video later on, like the evidence of it. So if you're saying like someone's punched me in the face, I'm gonna have to say a fucking left jab.
Well, no, because we
No, I
don't
tell you
fake
what would be
anything.
really cool, like the way to edit that. You know, in the fourth kind where they do the phone calls
Yeah.
or like the voice recordings where it comes up with, oh, that'd be sick. That's a really good idea.
Yeah. But what we could do, like, that would be quite cool potentially for like some solo stuff as well. So go into a room, no camera, just a tape deck, and you sit there and you're just speaking to the room. You're describing what you're seeing or what your lack of seeing if it's fucking pitch black. And like you say, just have it come up like the sound waves and shit.
Yeah.
That would be really
The
cool.
thing is, if we do catch anything, no one's going to believe it.
But the thing is, if you catch
Wow.
something on camera, no one's gonna fuck. You know, or some people
Yeah.
will that trust us. But a lot of I've said it before. We could literally go into a building and film an actual fucking ghost, and they'll be like, "Well
Yeah.
done, you faked it." And it's like, okay, cool. Which is why I say it so many times. We're just doing it for us, and you guys are along for the
Yeah.
ride. You know.
Yeah, true. I feel like we're a very trusted investigation team, so
Yeah,
hopefully
Absolutely,
people
rightly
would
so.
trust the
Yeah, but you're not going to
voice
convince everyone.
recordings.
But it'd be cool.
Exactly.
I really like the idea, and I think you know, it's weird for me to say visually. I think it will look cool on the video, but because there's no visuals other than the transcript and stuff. But yeah, I think it'll work. We'll see. Yeah, we'll give it a go. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so Gross and Playfair were believers, even though he's literally calling her a liar. Anita concluded that the case was overrated. Fucking hell. And many skeptics accused the Hodgson family of making up the hauntings for fame or financial gain. At different points, the investigators caught the little girls bending spoons themselves and banging on ceilings with broom handles. Like in the movie, catching the girls in the act seemed to be enough for Gregory and others to close the case. In 1980, Janet admitted to ITV, "Oh yeah, once or twice we faked phenomena just to see if Mr. Gross or Mr. Playfair would catch us. They always did." Bit weird. Just ahead of the movie's release, Janet told Daily Mail that only 2% of the occurrences were faked. Okay, that's the problem.
But
If you
that-
fake anything, you're
basically,
fucked.
Yeah.
You
What-
fake
what
one
she just
thing, you're
said
fucked.
Is, oh, we did fake some stuff to see if they caught us, but they did catch us on every single time we faked anything. It's like, yeah, fucking right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Just don't fake
You got
anything.
caught, now you're making it up.
Yeah. Yep. No, literally,
I
don't fake
can
anything.
see the benefit from their point of view of testing the investigators.
But why, though?
I guess to make sure they are being thorough to an extent.
And that they
I don't think
maybe that
it's a
they
good
wouldn't
plan,
then.
but-
Yeah, and then like perhaps like so that to test if they would lean into it.
Mm.
So again, for our own credibility, at the blacksmith pub, obviously me and Bailey went upstairs and the fucking REM pod started going off. What the fuck? What the fuck? We could have leaned into that. We didn't have to
Yeah.
show you the bit an hour later where we fucking realised that using the walkie-talkie interrupts the REM pod, thus debunking our own phenomena.
Mm-hmm.
But we did because
Yeah.
being honest is important and we don't want to fake anything. Because when we do capture something, oh my fucking god.
And also, when we realised that does that, we could have used that so much
Yeah.
going forward. But
Yeah.
we called it out, we were honest about it, and now we know not ever to use phones or walkie-talkies
Nearby.
or any form of like communicative technology
Nearby.
around a REM pod.
Yeah.
Even the floor below or next door.
Yeah.
Phones get left in the
absolutely.
bags now.
Yeah. Airplane mode. But yeah, so that's the thing. But look, right here, like this exact reason why you don't fucking fake anything. Oh, only 2% was fake. It's like, okay, no one knows that. All we know is that you fake shit. So we cannot trust anything that has been caught in this house, which I do understand why the Enfield Haunting is just seen as a fucking hoax. Because there is a chance, maybe it was all, maybe some of it was real, but they've fucked it by faking even a little bit. They've totally fucked it.
Yeah.
I think another thing that adds credibility to it being faked is the fact that someone has lived in that house for 16 years and not had any problems.
Or they've lived in there for 16 years. They're possessed as fuck, and the demon's just having a jolly in London.
They've just been levitating in the living room
Yeah.
for the last 16 years.
Yeah, and they just don't want anyone to come in and exercise the place.
Maybe the demon bought it. She's like,
Yeah.
right, I fucking devoted this bitch. I'm fucking buying it at a low price and I'm fucking keeping it. Let's go.
So while Ed and Lorraine did visit this house, but they didn't have to save the kids from any demonic nuns in real life. Whatever they did see while at the house seemed to convince them that supernatural forces were indeed at work. Those who deal with the supernatural day in, day out know the phenomena are there. There's no doubt about it, Ed said on the Enfield case. Meanwhile, a magician named Milburn Christopher dropped by to check things out and said the activity was the work of a little girl who wanted to cause trouble and who was very, very clever. Ray Allen, a ventriloquist, said Janet was playing tricks with Bill's voice because she enjoyed the attention. Oof.
Jesus.
Getting absolutely slandered by a ventriloquist. By 1979, the tabloids had moved on. While the experts couldn't agree on a logical explanation, despite the movie's happy ending, the real-life case was never truly closed. Janet told the Daily Mail in 2015 that things began to quiet down in the fall of '78 when a priest visited the house, but the next family that moved in reported strange incidents too, including hearing voices downstairs and encountering a man walking into rooms. They only lived in the house for 2 months. I mean, that's a bit interesting. Years later, Janet called the events she lived through in that house traumatic, revealing she had a short spell at a psychiatric hospital and that she was bullied at school, where her classmates called her Ghost Girl. She told Daily Mail that her mother also had a nervous breakdown. It's not surprising, then, that Janet wasn't very happy to hear about the film being made about the Enfield case, as it dug up old memories she hoped to leave behind when she moved out of the house at age 16. This actually mentions last week's episode, funnily enough, but Conjuring 2 wasn't the first to dramatise the events of the Enfield case. The BBC's controversial 1992 mockumentary Ghostwatch took a rather different approach. Disguised as a special live investigation of a haunted house on a Halloween night, the 90-minute programme was hosted by real-life broadcaster. We've done all this last week. If you haven't heard, go back and have a listen or a watch. But apparently, they based that mockumentary on this case and the kind of things that happened there. But yeah, so that is the Enfield haunting. I mean, from what we've heard and seen today, I have to say it's not looking great.
It's not looking good, bruv.
No, it's not looking good, bruv.
You know,
I'd say DOA.
I believe, which was entirely unplanned, I believe that there is a Enfield Haunting stage show. I think it's literally coming out. Yeah, starring Catherine Tate. The Enfield Haunting has come to London's West End from November 30th. You can get your tickets right now. Catherine Tate.
What the fuck?
Catherine
Is it
Tate.
serious?
Yeah.
It's not a comedy.
She's just going to jump off the bed.
She can do serious. Have you seen Doctor Who?
She's going to do her Nan character. 100%.
You're a fucking liberty.
Oh, fucking here we go.
I mean, they did do a ghost episode of the Nan thing.
Yeah,
Special
she's got experience.
I think David Tennant was in it.
Your knowledge is just so eclectic that you just know things. But yeah, so it's running from the 30th of November to the 2nd of March. This video is not brought to you by the Enfield Haunting play, but there you go. If this has interested you and you like Catherine Tate, go and give it a watch. But yeah, I don't know, right? This is obviously in no way representative of anything, and therefore, you know, is not seen as any slander or anything. But based off of what we have heard in today's episode, starting with Loz, then Scott, then myself, was it, in your opinion, real or a hoax?
My opinion, hoax.
Okay.
The actual, like, the information that is out there, I'd also say factually it is a hoax. My opinion is a...
Fuck's sake. Scott.
I don't know how you guys feel about it, you know.
Scott.
I would say that it sounds like there may have been something at the very start, and then they took that and ran with it.
Right.
Based on the the police report, which is the bit that still sort of has me
Yes,
thinking
see
there
the
might have been
police thing.
something.
Explain that, Loz.
Dodgy
what?
cops.
Dodgy cops.
The police thing, yeah.
That's it.
And then obviously from there they lent into it for the publicity.
Okay. Maya?
I'm gonna say no. I think I agree with Scott. I think there might have been something little there, and maybe they told a few people, and people kind of took the mick out of them for it. So they've kind of taken it too far by accident. But yeah, I don't think so. Because I've just looked at a couple of the pictures, and one of the children is really like her face is really ringing a bell. Is there a recording or a video of her speaking in tongues?
Is it her? I know which thing.
really
I've done a
recognise
video.
her.
I've done a video on the recordings.
Are we
Is that
thinking of the
her?
Annalise Mikel one?
I think no. Yeah, I think it's someone else, isn't it?
That is different. That is a different person. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you
There you
mean
go.
though. She does look similar. Yeah, that's fucking scary shit.
Yeah, but I think it might just be this picture. She looks so much
Oh,
like
no,
that
wait.
girl.
Wait. Yeah, no, you're right, Mike. It's not the same woman, but there is a recording because at the end of the fucking Conjuring 2, when the credits are rolling, they play that audio. I'm sure they do, and it's fucking horrible.
There's a 5-minute audio recording.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where she's like,
I'm certain I've heard it before.
Bill Wilkins. Oh.
Yeah, I've got it up here. It's.
But yeah,
You
the
watched
one
it?
that I'm thinking of is Annalise Michael, where her face is all fucked up and shit.
Oh yeah, she's wearing the red jumper.
But we won't play that just in case of copyright. But you can go and check that out. You can go and check the recordings out. But yeah. Anyway, this has been the Enfield.
One more thing. I've just seen a clip from an interview with the two daughters where the interviewer is asking them whether they think it's haunted, and they're both saying no.
Oh.
So if you wanted some more facts to add
You
to
could have
this
told us
opinion-
this 40 minutes ago, and we could have just not done the episode.
Yeah.
So if you feel like you've wasted the last 40 minutes of your life, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe.
That's a guaranteed like button. Smash
That's
that
it. That's it. But yeah, thank you so much, Lozzie, Scott, and my.
Hang on. Wait.
What?
You've already forgot.
Oh,
We're
fuck.
Well done, Lottie.
Q&A. Let me. So, put any questions you have for next week. Put in the comments. I don't know why I said it like that. I also put a few posts out on Facebook, YouTube, and Patreon. If you want to become a patron, £1 or $1 a month gets you lots of cool stuff. Any cases you want us to look into? For example, Naomi Brecken has said, look into the tale of Sacris George Downey, which she's literally written a load of stuff on it. So we will look into different cases as well. But the Bell Witch Haunting has been suggested. Interesting question here from Lynn that I know that we're not... Oh no, Scott, you're a demonologist. You're in the hot seat. Lynn Stratford says, how do you know a spirit from a demon?
They tell you.
I think.
They tell
Yeah.
Like
I
a
think there's
vegan,
generally-
I'll fucking tell you.
There's generally some debate on it. I think you seem to get a lot of spirits that claim they're demons, and in a lot of cases pretend to be and present themselves as demons. Generally, there's no like clear fire way that there seems to be to tell. It is just a case of trying to work it out based on activity, I think.
So what are the things that the spirits would do that would, describe a demon?
So, I guess from a demon point of view, they would take the approach of that's where you tend to get the scratches and threes. You tend to get the mocking of the Trinity. Generally, a lot more sort of religious stuff. And then obviously with just a standard spirit, you're less likely to get that. I think that is one of the key things that seems to indicate demon in a lot of cases is the sort of religious side of it, the religious attachment. That and pretending to be little girls and children. That's also a very common occurrence with supposed demons, is that you're talking to a young girl and it's not actually them, it is a demon. But again, the point where you actually realise it's a demon, no idea. It's one of those things.
Follow-up question for you, Scott.
Mm.
Can you be both?
Oh,
I don't know. That's a valid question. I think there are some cases where there are some people that are said to be demons, and then they're also said to be someone that was alive. And I have no idea whether there is there might be a method where you can get a promotion from standard ghost to demon.
Promotion.
well, I'll tell you what. Just
Don't
to
know.
link it,
Get a pay rise.
just to link it to what we've been talking about with the girl, not the one in the Enfield, but the one that's
Annalise.
based on The Exorcist. 'Cause I've listened to those tapes. I'm 99% sure if my memory's serving me right. Like, there's a bit where she's talking about how she's all these demons from hell, and then she also claims to be like fucking Judas, and she claims to be Hitler and shit.
Yeah.
And so it's like within a demonic possession. I know Hitler was clearly an evil fucking bastard. Like, within that possession, she's claiming to be demons, but then also claiming to be possessed by the likes of Hitler and Judas, and so in that respect, you would I don't quite know how to digest that, but do you see what I mean? Like, you have
There are
possession.
definitely like demons that walk the earth, I believe.
Oof.
Jesus, that's quite a claim.
There's 3 of them in this podcast.
Oh,
Better.
one more question linked. Your thoughts on demonic dark entity possession and how it is portrayed in movies and television. So, obviously, I've never seen a live exorcism. I don't think I've seen a possession. Like, I know, like, potentially with the asylum video, walk-in possession and things like that, but I mean, like, how you see in the fucking Hollywood movies. I've never seen anything like that. And if my experience of Ouija boards is anything to go off of, i.e. Ouija boards are very slow and they bore me to tears, I feel like the possession, like, the whole in the fucking bed floating and shit, and, the Ouija boards in movies are like, and set fire and shit. I've never seen it do that, not even fucking close. It's like 2%. I've seen like 2% of a Hollywood movies Ouija board. So I feel like if in reality a possession is like 2%, then it's probably quite dull.
But to be fair, like the videos, like Annalise video, etc., that looks pretty spot on to movies, I guess. But obviously that's
But then
the only one that I've ever seen. So
yeah.
So there is at least one episode that I can't quite remember the details of Ghost Adventures, which again the legitimacy of, I guess, is up for debate. But I think it was on their House Calls series. They went to someone's house and the father in the house was supposed to be possessed by a demon. And it was, I think, and I might be wrong, I think he was like being very violent and aggressive towards his wife and kids.
Oh, right, okay.
And the episode essentially ended with Zach Bagans and the others trying to exorcise him.
Wow.
And so they did a thing at one point where they went out and they came back in, gave him a drink, and it turns out it was holy water. And like he took a sip of his drink and
pranked, bro. Pranked that demon.
Prank Patrol were there, and,
You've just Ashton Kutcher ran out and was like, "You've just been pranked." That was holy water.
Imagine if like holy water, if like possession is real, and like holy water is literally like drinking sulfuric acid. He's like, oh.
Well, maybe it was actually sulfuric acid.
Yeah.
That's a real prank.
It was sort of like the possession so his possession in that was kind of, it had some of the sort of Hollywood stuff where he was, speaking in a voice that wasn't necessarily his.
Yeah.
He was reacting to things like holy water, crucifixes, and I think prayers were making him angry.
So did he know that he drank holy water?
Yeah. What was his reaction?
And I think he did.
So when he drank it, he didn't notice.
I think when he had a sip of it, he like started not convulsing, but reacting negatively to it.
Sparkling water.
I'll need to look. I'll need to look back and.
I'll
need to look back and remember it.
Why is this fizzy?
Why is it spicy?
Why is it spicy?
Fuck's sake. No, I definitely have to give that a watch. I think I might save this for a future episode because I think we could get away with reacting to it. Fingers crossed. There's an interview, like whether it's real or not, it's fucked. And there's an interview with a cop, an ex-cop, and it's like, what's the most fucked up like paranormal thing you've ever gone to? And he was like, I don't know if this was possession or schizophrenia. He says, so he's like, so instantly like, okay, he's given it a rational explanation. But he was, I'm going to butcher it. I'm only going to say it like at the very small parts of it. But basically, he got a call to a house where the mother had just been released from a mental institution, and because of forced schizophrenia, but the father believed she was possessed, and he like went there and he went like interviewed the son, and it's like, where is she? He's like, she's in the room next door. Noticed in the boy's bedroom that he had like fucking deadbolt locks, like 7 deadbolt locks on the inside of his bedroom. That's apparently to keep her out. And he was like, listen, and then he could hear like her fucking like screaming and like fucking pacing up and down and stuff and all this sort of shit. And then the boy was just like, you think this is bad? You should hear her at night. And it's like, oh, fucking hell. But yeah, he claims that this woman was possessed, and like he fucking went and saw her, and she looked all fucked up and like, all demonic and stuff. But it's an interview with an ex-police officer. We'll have to watch it. I think it's literally just like a podcast interview. I'll find it. I think I've got it bookmarked because I've wanted to make a video on it for ages. But yeah, it's just fucking scary. Because it's like,
the thing with schizophrenia though is it's powerful enough to physically change things about your body. Like you can change your voice, your accent, your eye color, whether you have diabetes or not. So it's very possible that all these people experiencing possessions are actually just experiencing symptoms of schizophrenia.
Yeah. Well, I just watched, and I know it's a Hollywood movie, but it's based off of true events. The Pope's Exorcist, right? So it's based on this exorcist from the 80s, played by Russell Crowe, who's an Italian man. Russell Crowe with an Italian accent. And he is like the #1 exorcist for the Vatican, thus the Pope's Exorcist. And he's like being interviewed because he did an exorcism, which is really fucking graphic. It's right at the start of the movie, so it's a spoiler, but it's sort of like it's not part of the story, but it's just sort of like an introduction. And what he does, right? This guy claims to be possessed by the devil. And so he's like, oh, you're the... So he's like taunting it. It's like, oh, you're the devil, are you? If you're so powerful, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And this guy's like fucking wreathing and like swearing and all sorts of shit. And he's like, bring in the pig. So he brings in this pig. And he says, if you're the devil and you're so powerful, why don't you possess this pig? And he's like, you won't do it. Well, you can't fucking possess this pig. Leave this boy and possess this pig. You can always go back to the boy. Possess this pig. And so he like goes like, ah, and then like fucking slumps down, goes into the pig, air quotes, and then the farmer that brought the pig in shoots the pig in the head with a shotgun. So psychologically, the boy that was possessed now thinks the spirit has left him, gone into something else and been killed. And it's all like, so you think, whoa, that was fucking crazy. Then he goes and does his interview and he says that was all bullshit. And it's because psychologically he wanted to convince the boy that whatever was wrong with him had left him, even though there was nothing actually wrong with him. And he says that like 98% of possession cases and exorcisms are basically bullshit, but there is 2% that is like, I can't explain it. He's like, 98% of it is schizophrenia, is psychological, they need therapy, but there's 2% that can't be explained. And that is what I would like to think, if it is real, is the case, and also is how it's treated. Because I think a lot of these people are mentally ill and they need help. Yeah. But it's just very interesting that like the #1, seemingly in this movie anyway, depiction of this #1 exorcist, and he's written loads of books apparently, resorted to psychological therapies more so than straight up exorcisms. But yeah, Exorcists, the Pope's Exorcist is a great movie. I really enjoyed it. Did get very, very Hollywood towards the end. very dramatized. But yeah, no, it was a cool movie. But yeah, that is this episode. Very possession-y, very ghosty. But yeah, Enfield, let us know down below your thoughts. And we'll see you again very soon. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you. We'll be back again very, very soon. Sweet one. Ugh. Ugh.